Welcome back to Unmasking Skin, the podcast where we uncover the real root causes of chronic skin struggles and the emotional healing it takes to finally feel radiant from within. I'm your host, Tabitha Isabel, skin health specialist, beauty medicine practitioner, and the creator of the Skin Triangle Method. I help women move beyond just skincare into confidence, calm, and deep inner healing. Let's dive into today's episode. So last episode we talked about why nothing has worked until now. Today we're going deeper into what your skin is really trying to say. So your skin actually acts as a communicator. I always talk about this with clients when they first come to me, that if you're dealing with skin issues, whether it's acne, rosacea, dermatitis, whatever it is, and you're seeing those visible results on your skin, like the physical acne, like nodules, that type of thing, it is literally your skin trying to communicate with you. It's a signal, so we can look deeper and kind of just uncover the underlying cause of what's going on. Skin is like the only organ that talks back visibly. Like it's the way that it communicates with you, and I think that's really cool. That is the coolest thing. Not me like nerding out over skin. But most people are trying to silence their symptoms instead of decoding them. And that's kind of where the issue kind of stems from, is that we're not treating skin generally as like a deeper issue. We're kind of just treating it topically, and that's where all the issues come from. That's why we see people who have acne, and if they go see skin professionals, a lot of professionals, what they do is they'll give you a course of like chemical peels, and you'll have the course of chemical peels and your skin will probably be clear afterwards, but the issue is you're not actually like discovering the root cause, so it's gonna come back. It's just kind of band-aiding the issue. It's the same thing with medication and like any prescribed creams and things like that. It literally is just putting like a plaster on it to deal with another day, and that is the issue. That is the massive issue with like the whole skin industry, dermatology industry, the whole lot of it, is because we need to look deeper. We need to dive deep into it, and a lot of people aren't willing to do the work. We're such in like I don't know, like a time period where everyone just wants things like really fast. I mean, if we look at TikTok, like that is the best example of like people's attention spans. Like the content on there, what it's like recommended that you do, like, isn't it like 6 to 7 seconds like clips, and then people scroll. I feel like that is a very good representation of what nowadays it's like. um and it's the same when it comes to skin. It's the same. Like I've had clients before who started my 6-month acne program like in person with me, and they've gotten into like 2 months and they're having the purge. And of course, like I talk about managing expectations before we start, like talk them through what's happening. But sometimes I have clients who come to their appointments and they're like, Tabby, like I've decided to go on medication anyway. And I'm just like, oh, that's so frustrating. But I totally understand, because it does take a lot of work to kind of recover your skin and to discover what's going on. And it is really frustrating. The whole journey's frustrating. And when there's someone there with like a golden ticket being like, yeah, if you do this, you take this golden ticket and you can have clear skin in like 2, 3, 4 months, and it'll be clear and you'll be sorted, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do the deep inner work. You don't have to find out what's going on. You don't have to look deep into your lifestyle, your health. We can just cover it, and you just take this golden ticket and that's you sorted, and off you go and you're sorted. And it sounds amazing, right? Like you'd be silly not to even consider that as an option. But that's when you deep dive into it and you think, oh my god, what are they actually giving me? It's not a golden ticket, it's actually moldy. I don't know, you get my weird analogy here, I'm sure. But yeah, it's so much deeper than surface level, and that is the most frustrating part, is because not enough of us realise that your skin is actually trying to communicate with you. And having acne and things like this is actually technically a good thing, because if you didn't have that physical symptom, how are you going to know that there's something deeper going on that you need to assess? Because with acne and rosacea and dermatitis, all of these things, we're looking internally at our health. Do we have gut inflammation? All of these things can like prematurely age us, and you can live longer when you sort these things out, essentially. So it is a good thing that your skin does communicate with you, even if it is also frustrating. So let's actually talk about the emotional meanings of your skin symptoms. So emotional stress can cause breakouts. So when you've got anything that's going on in your life, like stress is a massive factor to like affecting your actual skin. When you have stress, basically what this does is it increases your cortisol levels. You basically have an increase in internal inflammation, and what this does is it can increase your sebum production, which is your oil production, and this can basically lead to more clogged pores, which can lead to acne. There is so many different ways that cortisol can really like mess up you internally, and there's obviously ways that we can help like manage this, as is anything that I talk about with you. Otherwise, obviously, like suppressed boundaries, again, anything like this, like if we're holding in emotion and we're not suppressing it in a healthy way, that is gonna cause flare-ups. It could be in terms of rosacea, like this could be a massive reason why you might have like massive flare-ups of rosacea and you get really red and irritated. It could be because there's actually things going on in your personal life that you've not even considered would be affecting your skin, because a lot of us don't have the self-awareness yet of realizing all these different things that like are going on with us. I mean, it is just one of those things you have to nurture that intuition and pay attention to your body. And one of these days you'll be doing it for so long like I have, and then you'll notice and you'll be like, that person, just being around that person literally gives me stomach aches. Like it is crazy when you start looking into these things. And yeah, so otherwise we've got like hypervigilance. It could be that it's causing the fight or flight like thing going on inside of you, which could cause sensitivity with your skin. It could cause burning, itching. All of these things basically tie into your nervous system and dysregulation, which is again why when I talked about the skin triangle before, which is where we look at topical, internal, and emotional factors, that's why that emotional pathway is such an important like aspect of your whole skin health, because it's quite deep. Like there's a lot going on there, and nobody looks at this. Like it's very rare that you do look at this with anyone, especially skin professionals, which is why this approach is so important, because it really does cover all of the different avenues. So when you start working with like your skin and not against your skin and your body, that's when true healing begins. That's when you're going to see these amazing results, because you're actually impacting yourself in the most positive way. It's like when they say, don't they, like when after you have a breakup and you see like you usually have a glow up, right? It's because you've been doing that deep inner healing and you're sorting your life out, and you're probably prioritizing yourself more. You're like being more independent. You're doing all of these things which feeds into your health in such a positive way, even if you're not necessarily doing it for that reason. It's kind of like that similar thing. So I want to talk to you about something kind of personal, which I do deep dive a bit more into in my book Unmasking Acne, which you can get on my website tabithaisabel.com. But basically I suffer with CPTSD, so it's complex PTSD, and this is something I've had for my whole life essentially, due to some unforeseen childhood circumstances. Let's just leave it at that. But what this has meant for me is that it's a big cause of me having internal inflammation, because my body has always, for as long as I've been alive, been in that fight or flight mode, that anxiety, that never feeling safe in myself. And that has been a major thing that I've had to personally deal with and kind of sort out in the best way possible, consistently as well, because when your body doesn't feel safe on the regular occurrence, that is when you have that internal inflammation, and it only gets worse and worse and worse, and that's when you have skin disorders like acne. And obviously with me being acne prone, it makes such logical sense that those two things are tied, because when your nervous system is dysregulated, it's never feeling peace. You're constantly just feeling anxiety, and that means your cortisol levels are through the roof. That's when your skin produces more oil. That's when your pores are clogged with more oil and that bacteria in the dead skin, and that's when acne happens. And I feel it a lot of the time. I've had to teach myself a whole journal of nervous system regulation tools, which is absolutely important, and everyone should have a list of their nervous system regulation tools, in my opinion. But it has meant that, like, on the odd occurrence, I can feel that I'm reverting back to that because that is my natural state of being. And then I have to kind of think about it and sit with myself and be like, okay, like, why is this happening? Like, is there certain triggers that is happening and like causing this? Like, where can I do better for myself, for my inner child? And you can see here like how much deeper skin actually is when you think about like childhood trauma can affect your acne in your like mid-20s onwards. Like, it can affect you at any time of life. Like, it really is one of those things where skin is just so complicated and people aren't aware of how much actually goes into it. We just think about it on social media from a very topical perspective, where we're just looking at skincare, we're just looking at facials, and we're just looking at treatments. And now and again people will be like, oh, well, you should eat this for your skin, you should get these collagen tablets, which I'll talk about another day because that's a whole other thing. But it is so much deeper. And I want you to start thinking, if you're dealing with any skin disorder, especially chronic disorders, is it because your nervous system is dysregulated? Is there things in your life that have happened to you and you've struggled with? Have you healed from that? Has your body healed from that? Because even if we feel like we have, our body remembers. And this is where we get these chronic skin conditions from a lot of the time, is a dysregulated nervous system. It could even be something as, simple as, you don't like your job, and every single time you go to work your body feels unsafe because you're unhappy there, and that can cause internal inflammation, that can cause gut inflammation. And it could just be something as small as that. Obviously it's not that small in the grand scheme of things, because if you're going there every day it's not a very nice situation, but you can see how all of these things just trickle into your well-being and they really do affect your health. So it could be worth taking a step back from your everyday life and thinking, oh my god, like, am I actually okay, or am I just sailing through life? I need to take a step back and see where I can prioritize that self-care, because that is what's going to impact your health in the best way. Even if you're someone that doesn't have chronic skin disorders, even if you're someone who just wants, like, to age, I don't like using the word better, but age more youthfully, I guess, and, reduce the signs of premature aging. Obviously, internal inflammation, it causes like premature aging. It does cause that because obviously it can cause cellular damage internally. So the healthier you are, the healthier your lifestyle is, the better you deal with things on the daily, and the more nervous system regulation tools you have, the better quality of life you will have. And that's why it's so much deeper than just skin. So hopefully that made sense. I know it was quite a little bit of a deep one today, but I think it is important to talk about these things because they really aren't talked about, they aren't discussed, and it can be really frustrating if you're sat there with rosacea, dermatitis, psoriasis, any skin issue at all, and you're sat there and you're like, I feel like I've tried everything and I don't know what else there is to try. It could be worth just checking out, your nervous system, seeing where you can improve your self-care habits and how to just utilize the skills that are available for you, whether you go into EFT, which is one of my favorites, which is emotional freedom technique. It's all about like tapping through your pressure points. There's amazing tutorials on YouTube. I highly recommend that. It could be meditating, it could be yoga, it could be grounding yourself with walks, and the more of these tools you have, the better quality of life you will have, I can guarantee you. So if this resonated and you're curious about what your skin is actually trying to say, you can direct message me over on Instagram. I'm at Skin Health Specialist, or you can head straight to my website and look at how you can work with me on there. Either or, I would love to chat with you though, and hopefully we can get down to the nitty-gritty of what's going on internally for you. But remember that your glow begins within. You're an incredible person and you will get through whatever life is throwing at you. I've been your host, Tabitha Isabel, and I hope to see you very soon. I'll see you next time.